Testing. Testing, 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 testing.
By A$AP Rocky.
All right. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jack and Chesco in the morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Welcome back to Jack and Chesco in the morning.
I don't know if anyone's listening because just like me this morning, they might have forgotten that it was daylight savings today.
Yep, I forgot to.
Oops.
Oopsies.
Oops. Wait, can I be heard, by the way? Am I good on my...
Yeah, you're good
mic?
on your levels.
My sounds okay, just making sure. How you guys doing? It's been a week, I'm sure, for most of you for midterms, and they might be coming up or they might have just ended, but we're glad you guys can join us for another episode of our hit show here at Chapman Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Pauly,
Yes.
what is going on? How you doing?
I'm doing well. This episode, we wanted to talk about... This episode, topic I picked. We've talked about Pokemon and kids games. We've talked about the Scholastic Book Fair. So now we're going to be talking about kids shows and kids television.
Our show is a lot of nostalgia pandering, which I honestly don't think is a bad thing. I actually really like that about our show. I think that we have a good time balancing it out, and we're able to just make everyone happy with what we bring on. But yeah. Kids shows.
Okay.
We all watch cartoons.
We'll start with this question.
Wait. Oh, one question before we start.
Okay.
By kids shows, only cartoons, or can we talk
Everything.
about everything? Bet,
bro.
Okay.
Everything.
I'm excited.
Okay. One question before we start talking about kids shows. Were you a Nickelodeon kid or were you because I was a Cartoon Network kid.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So first of all, people ask this question wrong. Let me
really. What's the
because
proper
there's
way to
three.
ask it?
There's
yeah,
three.
Disney Channel too.
Disney. Okay. Good. I want to make sure.
Okay. I know. But
to rank them.
When I really quickly.
Yeah.
Before, when I usually ask that question, the majority of the time, the Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel kind of go together. You know what I mean?
And
a lot of people,
I will give you the same answer. So basically, let me put it this way. I watch Cartoon Network the least, but my favorite show is on Cartoon Network.
Pokemon.
Yeah, it was Pokemon. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But my favorite was Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon was just consistent at the time.
Yep.
But the one that I watched the most was Disney Channel, and a big reason for that is because the older sibling principle came in, and that older sibling was a big sister who loved Miley Cyrus and Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez. So I watched everything on Disney Channel. So I would say Nickelodeon was my favorite channel altogether. I watched Disney Channel the most, but my favorite show was on Pokemon. But if I had to pick one, short answer for a long Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon's my favorite. Nickelodeon's my favorite.
See, here's the thing. I didn't kind of seek out stuff. I just kind of turn on the TV and then see what's on, and usually what was on, or usually what this stuff that I liked was on Cartoon Network.
Really?
So I just go to Cartoon Network.
For me, that's the thing. I wish that I tell all my friends this, and it shocks. I was never into Star Wars or Marvel as a kid because again, I was raised by my sister had control over what was going to be on the TV.
Yeah.
And the only reason I really got to watch Pokemon was because she wouldn't be up in the morning. So and so she thought superheroes and Star Wars, it was weird. And if we watched it, then we're weird. And you don't want to be weird in front of your big sister at the time. So it's just I never got into it when I was that young. And then I eventually let go of that grasp. And I'm not too deep into it, but I love Star Wars. I love Marvel. I'll watch the movies. I'm into the lore, but I'm not a diehard.
There was this show back on I think Cartoon Network back in the day called Superhero Squad. It was a Marvel show. Do you remember this?
I know of it. Yeah.
It had you know how now in the movies and shit the Marvel IPs are split up all over the place.
Yeah.
This had every single,
Everything.
except for Spider-Man.
That's right.
It had every single like Marvel character, and they were all parodies of themselves.
Nice.
And it would like take themselves not seriously, and it was great. My God.
I was gonna say, I did say that my favorite show was Pokemon, but my top 3 favorite cartoons of all time are all Nickelodeon. So,
How can your number one be Cartoon Network?
well, my
and then
favorite as
your
a kid,
Okay.
as a kid was Pokemon.
It's still not your favorite. It's not your favorite now.
Well, anime, I feel like, yeah, but like
Oh, so
even
you'd
cartoons,
separate into like a different.
Yeah. I have a weird way of like categorizing.
That is weird.
But like, even then, I think I love I think my number one favorite cartoon more than like the anime for Pokemon. And I don't know if we want to get into that like right now about like our favorite shows, but
Sure.
should we?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you had. I didn't tell you. You told me what you were going to talk about, but do you want to go first?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't have like a list of favorite shows. I just
Okay.
kind of watched what was on, because I was an idiot kid. So the shows that I watched, I don't have like this. I've watched all these shows, and here's my ranking. Krista probably does, but I don't.
I hope your sister's listening because I want her to hear what my number one is and see it. I
Yes.
want the animation person to tell me if I'm valid.
All right.
Do it. Should I drop my top 3?
Sure.
I'll go from 3 to 2. Number 3 is The Last Airbender. I
Go.
never got into it until like 2020, but it really
Same,
did make an impact.
same.
Beautiful show.
Same.
I know everyone loves it. People consider it best show of all time, best cartoon of all time. Totally valid take. Number 2,
It's up there.
SpongeBob. SpongeBob is just
SpongeBob's a
a
classic.
classic. Seasons 1 to 3 are still good. I will go back and watch seasons 1 to 3. It is so funny.
Dude, they're so tight.
They're so tight. They're so well written.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the subliminal like adult jokes in there are so funny. Like it's not like cringe like 5th grade sex joke.
Or like fart joke.
Taika Waititi, but like it's not like
Taika Waititi always catching strays on this show.
but it's not like a 5th grade like sex joke. It's like kind of highbrow sometimes with SpongeBob.
It can be. Yes.
can be.
Yes, I agree.
And then number 1 is Hey Arnold.
Hey
And
Arnold.
this is a
Interesting.
cartoon I think you of all people would appreciate because I remember I told people I'm not a 90s kid obviously. I would watch it. I remember like seeing like clips of it when I was really young. The show ended in 2004. Went from 95 to 2004.
Mhm.
And then when I got older, all the 90s Nick shows, I would watch Teen Nick because all the Nick sitcoms would be on there, which we'll talk about those later because I have so much to say about those. But at night, they would show Rugrats and like all the 90s, which I remember like watching bits and pieces, but never like, but Hey Arnold is just such a beautiful, chill show. And the show itself tackles so many, like there's a really, really good episode about addiction. And the whole motif is there's a kid, like it's just the plot of Hey Arnold is it's this kid in the city. He has a bunch of friends. Every day there's something going on, and it's just a chill cartoon. It's just chill. The music is so good. It's just oh my God, the jazz. You can literally look up like Hey Arnold jazz. It's like a playlist on Spotify, and like just like the characters, like Helga is like the female lead character, and is probably one of the best written characters in like cartoon history. There's one episode where she like goes to therapy, and it's just like you see like why she is like the character that. It's really like sad, but really like crazy for a cartoon at the time to talk about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It was really one of the first cartoons to talk about mental health. And I mentioned it earlier, but there's a really good episode about addiction. And like basically there's this kid, there's all these crazy zany characters, but there's one kid, there's like either like grounded or like just super out of the box. And there's this one kid, his name's just Chocolate Boy. And all he does is eat chocolate. And he just like stuffs his anything with chocolate. And there's this episode where they take it too far, and it's like, or like that, like the whole premise is that it's like abnormal how much chocolate he's eating, and it's a motif for addiction. And Arnold is like this sweet kid who's just always trying to be neutral, always trying to like help people out, is trying to help him, and it's just like, oh man, it was so powerful. And then like the way the show ended, they after like 20 years, they finally gave it a movie and they put a solid ending to it. I predict the whole joke was that they never revealed what Arnold's last name was. And
Arnold.
His name, they reveal it in the movie, which was like 20 years later, but I knew that, like, I predicted that would be his last name. I was like, it was kind of like insinuated throughout the cartoon. And then his grandpa literally, like, there's a clip of him beating up Hitler. Like, I shit you not. There's a whole, like,
Arnold was beating
Arnold's
up Hitler.
grandpa is one of the coolest characters ever. Like, just so funny. Just like, but it's a wholesome cartoon. You should definitely watch it.
While we're talking about goat cartoon shows,
Let's go.
Kids shows.
Let's go. Do
Phineas
you have a
and Ferb.
Oh yeah, boy.
Phineas and Ferb was so. It's still so goddamn good.
It's still really
it's
good.
It's so fucking good.
And it's coming back.
It's coming back.
It's coming back. Well, my friends and I, one of my friends is right here in the studio listening in. We would always talk about how much we loved Phineas and Ferb.
Dude.
And
it's so good.
Phineas and Ferb.
It's so sharp. It's so well written. It's funny. It's funny not just for kids. It's funny for adults too. One of my favorite things about Phineas and Ferb and shows that do this, something I really appreciate, is when the show is funny for adults, but it's not making adult humor jokes.
It's not talking down. It's not talking down to the audience. It's like
not okay. That's not what I'm.
Well, part of it is that it doesn't talk down. That like anyone can watch it, basically.
Yes,
but
yes, but
adult jokes, but not like not crude sex joke, not crude swear. Like I'm going.
I think I know what you mean, but when you say adult jokes, I don't think of. I think of like the crude sex jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think smart jokes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I know what you're trying to say.
And something where a kid could watch it and enjoy it, and then an adult can watch it and be like, I enjoy it too.
Honestly, I think Phineas and Ferb is a show that I quote because there's one quote that I always say, and it's if I had a nickel for every time that this happened, I would have two nickels, which is pretty weird that it happened twice.
It's like,
but there are so many times in my life.
It's not a lot of money, but it's weird that it happened twice.
It's such a good, but it applies to so many things like that happen in my life, just like by coincidence.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God. But like Phineas and Ferb
is great. The songs, dude. The songs
they
awesome.
They wrote a song for every single
episode.
And while there is like a little, like obviously some are stronger than others. I mean, of course, it's gonna happen when you run over like 200 episodes.
Yeah.
But like, oh my God.
You know, they Dan
Povenmire.
Povenmire?
Yeah.
He said in an interview once, he's like, the reason why we did songs is because it was like a dare. They were like, his friend was like, you can't do a song every episode.
That is like Dr. Seuss core, literally. That's like, you know how like Dr. Seuss wrote Cat in the Hat?
No.
Basically, the whole story is that like his friend gave him a list of words that he could only use to write, and he's like, write a book with that, only those words, and he did. Cat in the Hat.
Cat hat.
That kind of reminds me of that. Like it's so, like Phineas and Ferb was a classic. I was gonna say let's like go from channel to channel. I think let's go. Because I know I said my top 3 just happened to be Nickelodeon. I don't know if you feel... I feel way strong about Nickelodeon cartoons. I love Nicktoons. I think Nicktoons were the best. I don't know if you have any strong opinions about it.
I have no strong opinions.
Really?
I mean, I just like watched the fucking TV. I turned it on whenever I was able to watch TV, and we just watched TV.
Off the top of my head, Jimmy Neutron deserves an honorable mention. Jimmy Neutron had some pretty clever jokes and was like actually funny, and like like still kind of holds up today. It's just like it's so like the premise of the show is actually like pretty cool, kind of like Phineas and Ferb, where Jimmy like when makes something it goes awry, and then you know all the characters have the different interact, but like the characters are so memorable. But all like there's a reason why like Carl Weezer became such a meme. Besides like Weezer becoming like the band becoming a meme, but like Carl Weezer is just like a character, and so is Jimmy Neutron. Like you can't handle the Neutron style. Like there's so many, and then his dad like
Hugh Neutron.
Like there's so many jokes from that, and I love like at least with Nicktoons, Rugrats is a classic.
I just remembered a clip from Jimmy Neutron with the robot parents, and he goes, "Well, can I go outside?" He's like, "No going outside. That's where the Civil War happened."
Oh my God, There's one quote. Oh, because we'll talk about it. Cause I know it's a show you said you wanted to talk about. That just reminded me of that. But I know another early Fairly Odd Parents is fire.
Yes,
Rugrats is great, and I think you would love Rugrats. Rugrats is kind of like Phineas and Ferb, where the adults in the show, where like that was the most entertaining part, low key, because it's just like these adults just like they're making it by, and oh man, I'm forgetting. I'm totally forgetting. There's one quote where it was like it's just so stupid from Rugrats, but it's so funny, and it's like but there's one moment that everyone talks about where Angelica, the mean toddler girl from Rugrats, is like being like a brat, and she's staying at her cousin Tommy's house and ordering the parents to do stuff. And there's like it's like I don't remember the exact quote, but it's like Stu Pickles is up at least, and she's like, and like Dee Dee, the mom, goes like, Stu, it's 3 a.m. What are you doing up at this time? And he's like questioning my life decisions. It's just like, and that was Rugrats. That's like early Rugrats. And I feel like a lot of cartoons make those jokes those days. Like that's like kind of like a thing. But like,
yeah,
Rugrats, at least old Rugrats is pretty fire. At least I think for Nick, Back at the Barnyard. Holy shit. Probably the most underrated Nicktoon of all time. And like, that show is so well written and so funny, but at least to like what I remember, it was all like quips. It was never like fart. Like it were like occasional, it's a kid's show. There's gonna be a couple fart jokes, but like there were just like quips. It was so well written. It was so fast paced. It was so chaotic, and I don't know why that show is so hard to watch now. Not even for like hard to bear. It's just you can't find it. It's so like Callie and I tried to because Callie remembered how good that show was, and we tried to find it, and we think like Paramount Plus because that's where all the Nicktoons are.
Yeah.
So we go on Paramount. Nothing.
Damn.
And I really hope they bring the show back because it's so good. It's so funny. I don't know if you remember Back at the Barnyard.
I don't. If we're still talking about Nickelodeon shows.
Yeah.
Big Time Rush.
Oh, we're getting into sitcoms now. Yes.
Well, we're going by channel, right?
Yeah.
So we'll cover this too. Big Time Rush.
Big Time Rush was the last. Big Time Rush was the last good Nick sitcom, and I think
you're right.
I think though Drake and Josh still holds up. That is actually a show I have seen all episodes of, and I watched it all in my freshman year of college. It holds up so well. It is so funny. It is so like. It's just like. Drake and Josh is a classic. There's a reason why people quote it. There's a reason why people love it so much. And it breaks my heart that we're never going to get a reunion because Drake Bell is a terrible person. But I enjoyed it. And then I've been watching Zoe 101 lately. And Zoe 101 is so fire, okay? Because you watch this show and the whole thing was that it was supposed to be a spoof on like teen dramas. Like it was supposed to be like a little bit like that, and you just like learn to hate the main character, but everyone surrounding her is just so funny. Like there's like the main male lead, his name is Chase, and he's just like he's just trying to bag Zoe. Like he's so into her. He's such a simp, but he's just such a bipartisan chill guy, and he's just like. He's such like, and then like he has some of like the best lines right in the show. Zoe, and then you eventually get invested because you grow with these characters and they grow older and their relationships enhance, and you're like, oh shit, like I'm in it for the drama. I'm in it for like what's going on, what's the dynamic. And I'm like, as I'm rewatching that, like I feel that. And of course, we got to mention iCarly and Victorious.
iCarly and Victorious.
Victorious,
bro. I even watched Sam and Cat.
Victorious. You know what? Would it be... So, you know who my celebrity crush was as a kid, right?
No.
Victoria Justice.
Oh.
That... Victoria Justice and Victorious, that was like the show that made me, like, realize I have a big crush on Victoria Justice. She's oh my God. There was like... I had this whole thing in high school where, like, everyone's like, dude, like, chill. I'm like, it's just a joke. Chill. But, like, that... Victorious is still... It was, like, pretty funny... But it's like the Dan Schneider comedy where Ointment is funny. Feet.
Ointment.
Oh,
Oh,
look, they're
God,
barefoot,
Dan
guys. Look, they're
Schneider.
barefoot. It's funny.
Oh God.
Dan
my
Schneider.
God.
We should not spend this time talking about.
No, let's
Dan
not.
Schneider.
I don't want to
But
talk about him.
I think that's at least all for Nickelodeon. Big Time Rush was good though.
All right, are we getting to Cartoon Network? Because
know
there
you're-
are some.
I feel like I cut you off at
bangers.
Big Time Rush though.
No, there's nothing else.
Big Time Rush was pretty fucking.
Okay, I'm looking at a list of Cartoon Network shows in the 2000s.
Okay,
Shit
you
slaps.
go
All
on.
right,
your
I'm gonna
Cartoon Network
list them,
rundown.
and then we're gonna go into like some of my favorites. Okay.
Okay.
Codename Kids Next Door,
Okay.
Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Lab, Ed, Ed and Eddie, Samurai Jack, Flapjack,
Oh,
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Teen Titans. Teen Titans was so cool.
Teen Titans still is like
Oh,
such
man,
a great
it's
show.
Such a great show. Courage the Cowardly Dog, Ben 10, Adventure Time. Come on. Come
man.
on.
I watched
Tell 'em
Adventure
to bring me
Time.
my money.
You literally just named off like 96 bulls of like Cartoon Network right there. That was crazy.
Chowder.
That was like such a
regular show.
Oh,
Bro, don't
regular
even.
show was the best
Show
show,
is so
the
good.
best Cartoon Network show.
Yeah.
Regular show was the best, and like I'm watching that right now too.
It's so good.
It's just so funny.
It's
so
well written.
it's
you
so
know?
well written, and like
The characters are really well written too.
it's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of the shows at the same were like similar but different in a way. Like you can kind of compare regular show with Phineas and Ferb based on like how bombastic like things get.
Yeah,
And, like just the way that
kinda.
everything goes.
But regular show's more surrealist and
That's true.
like what the fuck kind
Yeah.
of shit.
And then like Phineas and Ferb was more of like kids. Well, like a kid's imagination.
Yes,
Like being
yes,
brought to
like
life.
wow, this is.
A roller coaster in our
I'm gonna
backyard.
build a roller coaster.
Yeah, we'll get to Disney Channel a bit. But
Yes,
like
yes.
you literally named off such a great roster.
Let me see.
I
Gumball. Gumball's still good.
You know what? I didn't like Gumball as a kid.
Watch it again.
I've
It's like
been told.
it's like really well written and it's like funny and it's like internet humor and shit.
Yeah.
Like
I know. I've seen the SJW clip. That's like, I am a social justice warrior, and he like goes like Super Saiyan. Oh my god!
it's hilarious.
Are you gonna say Steven Universe?
No.
Okay, that's
Total Drama Island.
Oh yeah, boy! I love Total Drama.
Total Drama
I'm glad-
Island. Awesome.
Total Drama still kind of holds up.
It still holds up.
It still holds up
because it's like a mock drama show, right?
honestly, I'm glad that you mentioned Powerpuff Girls because like
Powerpuff Girls is so
Well,
good.
because Powerpuff Girls, I never watched it, but like the whole thing that gets me is that why is it so hard to reboot Powerpuff Girls? Because they have fumbled with the reboots like crazy. The 2016 one was terrible. It was just internet humor, and then there was a weird self-insert of the writer getting with one of the Powerpuff Girls. I don't know if you know about the 2016 reboot. It was
I don't.
terrible, terribly written, terribly animated, like totally off the script. And then there was the live action CW one that's coming, which
A
the
live
script-
action
Yes.
Powerpuff Girls?
and
How do you do that?
It's been in development hell and should definitely be canceled because it
should be
the script
canceled
got
first
leaked and it was
because
terrible. Like,
It's on the CW.
why is it
Fuck
so?
the CW.
Well,
It's the
now I think
shittiest
they're
channel I've ever heard.
Well, I think they're remaking. I think they're actually bringing back Powerpuff Girls, but with Craig McCracken. So Craig McCracken will be on deck for this time,
Okay.
which the OG, because he wasn't with those on either of those creations. That was Cartoon Network just doing corporate stuff. But the whole premise of Powerpuff Girls are these cute little girls fighting like bigger than life threats. Like that's the whole thing.
Dude,
Why is it
so
so
good.
hard to mess a concept like that up? It's Monster of the Week. That is like the easiest formula to do, right?
Yeah.
I get mad because it's just like, how are networks so blind to this?
Speaking of Mad,
Mad.
You ever watch that show?
Oh yeah, I did.
dude, that show is good.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Watch it again.
I did watch it again. It wasn't that good.
Here's the thing about it, right? It was just a bunch of skits. And there were so many references that went over my head as a kid that I get now.
Yeah.
Like the Great Batsby.
yeah.
My dad and I still quote that to this day. It's like Batman mixed with the Great Gatsby. and he's going around the party. He's like, I heard yellow cars are in this year. Yellow car, yellow car, yellow car. And then he goes and talks to this woman, and he's like, hey, you want to take a ride in my yellow car? And she goes, oh, I heard yellow cars are in this year.
I hate Great Gatsby. I hated that book. You would love Great Gatsby.
What the fuck? Why am I being pinned for a Great Gatsby fan?
You of all people would love Great Gatsby. I feel like you totally would.
The movie's pretty good.
You think so?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Is that really how you feel?
Okay.
I'm sure. I'm a walking.
Mad,
I'm a walking.
We like that show.
I'm a walking rap TV show. Like comment like description.
Yeah.
Is that really how you feel? But I know Adventure Time. I watched
Adventure Time
early,
was so good.
And I think we talked about this personally.
Yes.
Adventure Time is got really depressing as it went on, and I remember I hated that.
It aged with the audience.
Yeah, but I don't know. I never really dug it like that. Ninjago. Did you ever watch Ninjago?
Hell yeah, I watched Ninjago.
So here's the thing: is that my favorite shows on Cartoon Network were not the Cartoon Network original shows. Pokemon was Pokemon was the biggest show that I watched. I talked about this in the Pokemon episode. The Pokemon anime has been such a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves next, I think, 2 weeks, 1 week.
Yeah.
Ash is gone.
Yep.
And it's crazy because Ash was my childhood hero. He was he taught me, how to, how that drive and passion is what gets you as a kid. And it was just it was so cool just seeing whatever new monster of the week. And I remember playing the game as I was watching the anime. And Brock would always say something that was oh, wait, that applies to the game. And that's kind of how he's written in the show. Mm-hmm. Is that Brock will be this is flamethrower. It always, it mostly will hit, but it might leave a burn if possible. And it's oh, that's just he's saying it like it's a game. It's no one recognizes Pokemon even though it's very baby, by the numbers in that regard. Mm-hmm. It's very simple. It did do that for the fans. And I don't think a lot of people really recognize that. Mm-hmm. But I really watched the Diamond and Pearl series. I hated the Black and White series. I watched every single Black and White episode, and I hated it because it was just
wham, no Brock and Misty.
No, it's not that. Ash was totally scaled down. His team sucked. He caught too many Pokemon. There was so much filler. It sucked. His Silent was cool. Iris would just complain all the time. Dude, no, don't wham. And he lost the league to a guy that forgot his sixth Pokemon. Are you kidding me right now? Do not sit here and pull the wham card. Black and White is agreed as the worst season in the anime. Okay?
Fuck if I care. I was a little kid.
Wham. That's right.
I was a little kid.
Filtered. Ratio.
Filtered?
I don't know.
Anyways, moving on from Pokemon anime because that's gonna get Chesco riled up and start.
Yeah, because you're saying BS on this show.
Anyways.
Oh, he's commanding. He's commanding.
He's commanding
right now.
Cartoon Network. Adult Swim. I remember when I was a kid. We would be watching. Me and my sister, we would watch it on Cartoon Network, whatever, and then 8 p.m. would hit, and they'd start drinking beer, and we'd be like, so, King of the Hill.
Oh, it always started with King of the Hill.
Yeah, they'd always start with King of the Hill.
And
I always loved that show.
I was going to say Ninjago, back to Ninja, because I said
I'll tell you
Pokemon.
what. That boy ain't right. Bobby?
So you watched Ninjago?
Yeah.
Ninjago, I feel bad because I was rambling about Pokemon, but Ninjago was a really good story structure.
Yeah.
It was so well
Who did
done.
you think the Green Ninja was?
Should have been Kai. I will always say this. Well, I knew it was Lloyd because as a kid, I figured out how to access the internet and I found Lego set leaks. But basically
You found Lego set leaks as a kid.
I know, right? And what really
I didn't. It was a total surprise.
Kai was always the star of the show.
Yeah.
Kai was always the main guy. And then all of a sudden Lloyd is the Green Ninja and now he's the big star. BS. Real ones know that Kai was the
I liked
G.
Zane.
The
Zane was
reveal
OG,
that
bro.
Zane was a robot.
Oh.
I will never forget that. That was crazy. That was an insane.
We're like, what?
That was actually a really insane reveal too. But I watched up until I didn't like the robots. I watched all of the snake The
Yes,
Snake Saga.
I watched
the
that.
Snake Saga, that was peak right there. That was good. That's good television right there. Anyway, so just to get into Adult Swim, my key memory is my sister and I sneaking away and watching Family Guy. And then my mom walked in on maybe one of the worst moments where we're watching Family Guy. And she walks in, and it's, I think, the first episode of Family Guy. And the moment she sees on TV is at the end of the episode, there's a cheerleader tied up in a bathroom stall with like tape over her mouth. And Quagmire opens the door and goes, "Dear Diary, jackpot." And like, this is early Family Guy. So like, and my mom walks in.
Oh my God.
My mom walks in and she's like, "What did he mean by that? What did he mean by that?"
What do you
And
mean
my
by that?
sister and I-
What do you mean by that?
And my sister and I didn't know. We weren't like freaking out. We were like laughing. We're like, "Cause we Quagmire, he's funny. This is Quagmire." But like, we didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm Glenn Quagmire. I'm Glenn Quagmire.
I'm Glenn Quagmire.
I'm Glenn Quagmire, bro. Oh my God! But yeah, it was pretty good. Like Adult Swim, I watched. Eric Andre. I said this earlier on our talk show host when we were roasting Jimmy Kimmel. That Eric Andre was one of my favorite late night show hosts. It's just so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Tyler had a chokehold on Adult Swim. He had Loiter Squad. He had a couple cartoons on there. Crazy. Oh, and that's more of a. But no, we are not going to talk about Rick and Morty. I swear to God, if you bring
No,
it
we're
up,
not.
Thank you.
what
Rick and
was I
Morty
gonna
is
say? It
mid,
was
by
an
the
Adult
way.
Swim show. Fuck. It'll come back to me.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Boondocks.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
No, I know exactly what show.
What?
Venture Brothers. That's the show that you said you love, right?
That's Krista's favorite show.
Really?
Period.
Oh, I was
Ever.
gonna say. I swear, I thought you mentioned that you loved Venture
No,
Brothers.
I need to watch it because Krista loves that show so much.
Really?
Like, it is her life. Like, you could literally, I don't know how many seasons there are, maybe 6? I don't know. But like, you can show her a frame from any show, any episode, and she'll know what episode it was.
That's crazy.
Yes.
What does she love so much about it?
The characters, the story, the plot, everything. I don't know.
That's crazy. Was it like it was a drama or like comedy drama?
It was
I know it was a comedy.
a comedy drama.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Great show.
But at least anything else for Adult Swim that we missed? Oh wait, well we got to point out Adult Swim. You never watched Toonami. That was more of an early 2000s.
No,
thing.
it was too early for me.
Too early. Yeah, Toonami was a big thing. Toonami.
I know
made
about that.
Very big cultural impact. Honestly, like way too big of a.
I do
cultural
like
impact.
Steve Bloom.
Huh?
I do like Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom.
He was the voice of the.
Oh, the robot.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think the robot. He has a very distinguishable voice.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I can't think of any characters right now off the bat that he voices, but like.
I think last.
I'm gonna look it up actually.
Last is it Disney Channel time?
Yeah. While I look up Steve Bloom,
So I remember as a kid.
he voiced Wolverine.
Oh, really?
Steve Bloom, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Disney Channel.
Disney Channel. So I remember as a kid, I hated this, but like Disney Channel had no cartoons for like they had Phineas and Ferb,
Yup.
and like for a while that was like all they ran, and it was just a bunch of sitcoms, and like the sitcoms weren't bad, but there were definitely
There were
some
like
that
kind
were
of
good.
like.
Wizards of Waverly Place, even though I wasn't crazy about it, was good. Good Luck Charlie, in my opinion, was the best one. I'll defend Good Luck Charlie. Zach and Cody is pretty good.
Before we continue, Steve Bloom was Spike Spiegel, of course.
Oh my God. I was going to say, I recognize the name. I was like,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Greatest. Okay, continue.
But like the Disney sitcoms, I don't know if you had any experience with them. I hated Jessie,
I didn't like a
Dog
lot
with
of
a
them. That's the thing.
Blog.
That's like, I don't know. If it wasn't like a cartoon and stuff, it had to do a lot to grab my attention, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'd just look at it and be like,
But the
I don't
early Disney
understand."
cartoons from the early 2000s that they would run sometimes were pretty fire. I'm talking Recess, Please tell me you've seen Recess.
No.
What? Okay, it is a
Womp
pretty
womp. I didn't see it.
it is a pretty old cartoon, but it is so good. It is so I think it was created by one of the co-creators of Hey Arnold, and I think he did King of the Hill, but
I love King of the
it
Hill.
is a really good cartoon.
You know what cartoon I love? And I think this is on Disney Channel, so I have grounds to talk about it. The
know.
Looney Tunes show.
No, that's Cartoon Network.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was owned by Disney. No, it was Warner.
Warner, yeah.
Getting all my shit
Looney
mixed
Tunes
up.
show.
But
That
Looney Tunes
show aged very well.
That
I
show
remember I
aged
watched that
super
show.
well.
That-
It's so funny.
I didn't realize
my
how
mom loves that show.
that show is just witty. It is
yes,
just so
it's just
witty.
so witty. It's so great.
And I remember
my
as a
favorite
kid,
is
I
Lola,
never really understood
Lola
it.
Bunny in it.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
so funny in it.
Because they turned her from a sex icon to like this, from like not a sex icon, a furry icon.
Yeah.
To like just like a lovable like
like
bimbo.
idiot. Like
she's so
Yeah.
stupid. It's
No,
like
she's
you
so
can't
stupid.
hate her. She's so
my
funny.
one of my favorite parts is when she's driving. She's calling Bugs.
Yes.
She's like, hey Bugs, how you doing? It's like, oh, I'm standing on the sidewalk. Oh yeah. Funny enough, there's a guy that looks just like you. I'm about to hit him. or she's talking to Speedy Gonzalez, and she's like, how do you say, this is like, my mom will quote this all the time. She's like, how do you say taco in Spanish? She goes,
Yes.
Taco. How do you say burrito in Spanish? Burrito. So Spanish is just like English, right? And then Bugs comes in, she's like, oh, hi, Bugs. Or as they say in Spanish, oh, hi, Bugs. It's just so funny. It's so witty.
That's so like witty.
I love it. I
was gonna like Disney Channel didn't really have a lot. Like they did not.
No,
win.
Disney Channel.
But that's why I'm waiting, because then they dropped a nuke in 2013.
They dropped the nuke?
I'm talking Gravity Falls.
Oh.
And I've always been a day one Gravity Falls fan.
Gravity Falls is great.
Love Gravity Falls.
You know who loves Gravity Falls? My dad.
My grandfather loved Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
He thought Grunkle Stan was so funny.
Yeah.
I have a very fond memory of him like watching Gravity Falls with me. And he just thought it was like so funny and just like so like oh man.
I think Gravity Falls takes what Phineas and Ferb did well and like kind of expands upon it with like the kind of imagination mystery sort of like what's happening.
It combines the surrealness of regular show. I remember always comparing it to
Yes.
regular show as a kid. It was the surrealness of and kind of style of regular show and the imagination of a kid so well.
Yep.
And but also
and it
made
like
it a
added
story.
on to each other. Yeah,
Made
it
it a story with so much, with like a really solid start and end.
Yes.
And like there was really, I think Gravity Falls is one of the only shows
The
that
amount of detail that goes into that show is insane.
yeah.
Like the amount of like hints and stuff for like stuff that would not have been revealed in
I really don't think
until
Gravity
next
Falls
season.
ever had a fall off. I actually
it
think
didn't.
it is one of the most
Just 2
consistently
seasons, right?
great shows. Yeah, I believe.
Just 2 seasons and it was just great.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember any other. I didn't watch Star versus the Forces of Evil. My ex watched that actually quite a bit. I'm trying to. I can't believe I'm blanking on because Disney Channel didn't really have a lot of. Fish hooks. Fish hooks. Do you remember Fish Hooks?
No, the name sounds familiar.
It was Justin Roiland was in it, along with Kyle Massey, Corey in the House, and like it was like their adventures as like fish, and the animation style was like really like it stood out from everyone, but it was like a lot of like poopy fart jokes. But now I don't know if people like it ironically or unironically now, but like people are still like, oh, Fish Hooks was actually like a sleeper hit. Like it really wasn't that bad.
I don't remember.
I'm trying. I'm really.
I'll look it up, though.
Disney XD was where all the cartoons were.
Yeah.
So like I never liked Kick Buttowski. I always thought that show was corny. I don't know if you
I don't
remember
remember.
that.
See, Disney Channel was the one I watched the least.
Okay.
Because
the sitcoms like Zack and Cody, I rewatched when Disney Plus came out. The first thing I watched, I kid you not, was all the episodes of Zack and Cody, and it is still a little childish, but it's still like got its charm. Sweet Life on Deck sucks ass though. Sweet Life on Deck sucks because they ruined Cody's character. Another one, I never really liked Hannah Montana. My sister, of course, loved Hannah Montana. Sunny with a Chance, Demi Lovato. I don't know. What's your opinion on Demi Lovato? I'm not too fond of Demi Lovato.
There's so much hate in this world. We need to rise above. That's the one thing I think of when I think of Demi Lovato.
But like at least Disney Channel, there's really not a lot that I remember. And like because I just remember like I was like
Disney Channel.
I like begrudgingly watched it.
Except for Phineas and Ferb. And Gravity Falls.
And Good Luck Charlie. Good Luck Charlie was pretty fire.
I don't know
actually you never watched the sitcoms, I was gonna say.
No.
Good Luck Charlie was still like actually pretty fire.
Mm-hmm.
And Wizards was pretty good too.
Before we wrap up, I do want to talk about some other shows, other honorable mentions.
Are we going to talk about The Hub?
What?
The Hub.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, good. The Hub was like that network that like My Little Pony ran on.
Oh, no. I was going to talk about the Wiggles.
Oh, are we going to talk about like kids shows?
Because we're talking about all kids shows. If we're talking about all kids shows,
so my
the
first
Wiggles
obsession.
is goated,
let me get this clear. People. While people know me as a Nintendo guy, like I'm the guy who loves Nintendo, I did have
Wiggles stand
I
first?
did have an obsession with something else as a kid. Thomas the Train.
Really?
I was the.
Have you talked to Vrinja about this?
Oh my! No way. We really are the same person.
What do you mean no way?
I was the biggest.
He is still a huge Thomas and Friends guy.
Stop it! Really,
dude? He's like the biggest Thomas and Friends guy I've known ever since a kid.
Dude, like
how do you not know? God damn.
So Thomas. I was obsessed. My mom had. I have a bunch of the old, the Japanese battery Tomy trains, the wooden trains, plastic tracks, wooden tracks. I have everything still in my house.
This is still an amazing show. The sets were fucking beautiful. Well, not like still like making today, but like it aged well. I'm saying like the old shows are still good.
Okay,
you know, like the sets are beautiful. It's a calming show, you know?
Is it?
Yeah. It's
I was going to say, I remember the moment I grew out of Thomas. I remember the
George Carlin.
Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
It was just very nice.
I remember the moment I fell out when I realized it was the first, and I was like, I'm too old for this. I remember I think I liked Thomas up to second grade. Or first grade. It was first grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then I fell off. And then I got a Nintendo DS. And then I latched on to another thing. But at least Sesame Street, of course.
Sesame Street was goated too.
Sesame Street is goated. It is always goated.
You know what? There's this movie called 1, 2, 3 Count With Me. It was like a Sesame Street movie. It's like an Elmo it was like a Ernie and Bert. It's Sesame Street characters and stuff like that, right? It was like count to 10 or count to 12 with Elmo and stuff like that. I watched that shit as a kid so many times. It was this movie. Fucking hilarious. And like it's one of those things that's still funny to like adults, right? Even though it's literally about counting.
Well, like a couple years ago, Sesame Street went viral for the Rocco. The Rocco. He's a rock. He's a rock. He doesn't even have hands. He doesn't even have a mouth.
Well, that was a little newer. I'm pretty sure.
Was it really?
I think so.
But Sesame Street is a classic.
Sesame Street is classic.
The Wiggles.
1, 2, 3 Count With Me.
No.
I'm so pressed that is not on Letterboxd because that would have been on my top 10.
Really?
Or my like top 4 movies or something. I would have put 1, 2, 3 Count With Me on there.
I was going to say so the Wiggles. I watched the Wiggles.
The Wiggles, awesome.
The Wiggles.
Australian.
Oh, wake up, Jeff. Oh my god.
Wake up, Jeff.
And then fruit salad.
Yummy. So I was born in Australia too, so Wiggles, we got that connection.
I think my mom, you know what? I think a lot about me. This is going to explain a lot. My mom loved Caillou and is the only person I know who loved Caillou. And my mom basically...
That bald fuck.
My mom raised me on Caillou. So I think that explains the person that I am today.
Huh.
But like, literally Caillou was so bad. No one else watched Caillou. But my mom, I think, is the only person in the history of the world. Like, she got genuinely upset.
It was a boring cartoon.
No, it was just he would whine all the time.
He would whine.
And my mom got
annoying.
genuinely upset when she heard Caillou was ending. She's like, no, they can't do that.
Caillou.
No, it's Caillou. I'm like, Mama, it is not that
Mama.
good. All he would do is bitch and moan. She'd be like, hey, don't say that. Don't say that. He was not like that. Like, illusion, man. My mom needs to cope with the fact that Caillou was just not good.
We used to call my friend Caillou when he was going through chemo. He's fine now.
Where's the instant player?
The instant player. Oh, man.
No, you should have called him Heisenberg.
No, like one of the worst things, Varunjit would say this at every math class during this time. Shout out Miles. He's doing well now.
Good.
This was in middle school when this happened, but I'm not gonna touch on too much. But when he'd come to class and he'd be bald and shit, Varunjit would go, "Am I on Tatooine? Because I see two suns."
Oh my god, that's messed up.
It's messed up. He kept saying that.
Like, let me get this straight. Instead of I personally would have gone up to him and gone, Michael Jordan.
What the fuck?
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan.
Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Michael Jordan.
Oh my god.
But at least other kids shows. I mean, like PBS Kids. Well, PBS Kids.
PBS Kids.
PBS Kids. I never watched.
Kids is good.
I never watched Cyber Chase. I know that was a big one. Everyone watched.
I didn't watch that either.
They're like, oh my, everyone. Oh, Arthur.
Oh yeah, Arthur.
That's a Jack Pauly cartoon right there. I feel like that is something that
I watched it a little bit, not a lot.
Like, Arthur is a classic. Berenstain Bears. I remember that as well.
Berenstain Bears.
I remember. Do you remember Noggin from Nickelodeon?
No.
That was like the kids block. I remember Dora, of course.
Dora's goated.
Dora's actually pretty goated.
Okay, you know how they
and Oswald,
you know
the octopus.
You know how they made a live action Dora?
Yeah, I heard it was actually good.
Hold on. I'm gonna show this to the camera. Hold on. I remember when this trailer came out for this. It blew my fucking mind because Diego looks like me with short hair.
Yo,
when I had shorter hair.
I don't think so.
Well, at the time, when I had short hair like that, it looked like me.
I don't know, man.
Well, you didn't know me back then, so.
Well, if you don't know, now you know.
There you go.
Oh,
We're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I really don't want to miss any shows.
Same.
Little Einsteins.
Little Einstein was good.
The Disney Playhouse Disney was fire.
I love that show because it taught about music theory and stuff, which was
that's who you look like. If you had red hair, you would be what's his name, Leo, the leader of the crew.
No, that's fucked up.
That you and your sisters should do that as a costume. You guys should do the Little Einsteins. You'll be Leo.
Einsteins.
What June, Annie, and Quincy. Those are the kids. And the big rocket
Wonder
ship.
Pets.
Wonder Pets. We're on our way
to save the baby.
No, you want to know something that no one talks about? That everyone needs to start bashing? Is that stupid ass bunny that always tried. Bro really thought he was part of the team. But all he would do was go on the missions. Like, he was like, I think he was like a reoccurring character. Is this bunny. And the bunny, I believe it was a bunny. But like the Wonder Pets would have this like other fourth. I think it was a bunny. But they would come on the missions and instead of helping out the team, the bunny would just sit there and bitch and moan and be such a pessimist. And like no one calls out this character.
Ollie the bunny.
Is that show me the picture? Show me a picture. Yes, I think so. I think so.
It's the only bunny character that pulls up.
Like, because if I look up fourth Wonder Pet, it will.
Ming Ming was my favorite.
Ming Ming, I love the turtle.
Tuck.
Was it Tuck?
Tuck.
Yes, I think it was. I think that was the character. But there was like a fourth Wonder Pet, and all they would do was just complain and
I love that
complain
show.
and
That show
complain.
is so like, I don't know.
You know, I think Wonder
Wholesome.
Pets should come back. I
Yeah,
actually think they should totally bring
See,
it back.
like a lot of those kids shows, they centered around teaching kids a thing.
Blue's
and
Clues
stuff.
came back, and I love Blue's. Oh my god, I literally saw my. I'm
A
sorry.
lot of those kid shows, they centered around like teaching kids like essential things. So like Little Einstein's was like music and stuff, which is important and cool. This was like conservation and like nature.
Yeah,
And,
that's
like,
right.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
Like what other show does that?
Yeah,
You know?
but now it would
Like
be
little
written
kids.
off as climate change propaganda. As this is the liberals trying to pass off this. Shut up, bro. We've always had shows like this. Blue's Clues was
Clues
so
pretty
fire.
great.
I'll never forget. I walked in on my little cousin. I think she's what 3, 4 now, and she was watching the Blue's Clues reboot, and I was like, they brought back Blue's Clues? Is that Blue? And like my aunt tells me like, yeah, like that. It's Blue's Clues. I'm like, oh my god, no way. I actually like Nickelodeon had a banger roster of like
Of kids
kids,
shows.
and now it's all Paw Patrol and like
Dinosaur Train.
What about Wonder Pets, man? Wonder Pets was so,
Wonder Pets.
and the Backyardigans.
Bro, the Backyardigans is
I
awesome.
look okay. Let me get this clear. I'm gonna make my digital footprint right here.
Oh.
If anyone,
Mhm.
and I mean anyone, does a Backyardigans cosplay group costume, I will be there. But I will be Pablo. I am always Pablo. Pablo is my boy.
Who was the kangaroo?
Austin.
I like the kangaroo.
You know what?
Everyone likes Pablo.
But Austin was never in the episodes. I always remember it was always Tyrone, Uniqua. Who was the hippo again? She was yellow. The yellow hippo.
Oh God, I don't.
Tyrone, Pablo, Uniqua, Austin, Tasha, and it was like it was always Austin was never there. I don't know why. So whenever you show up, it'd be like, oh, it's like that friend that you don't really like know, but he comes occasionally. It's just like, oh, like, hey, what's up, man? Like, good to see you again, man.
Mhm.
Like, I don't hate you. It's just like you never come around, bro.
Well, bro, you can't just steal Pablo like that.
What are you talking about? I am literally
You
Pablo.
claimed you're literally Pablo.
I am Pablo.
Where's your hat?
What?
Where's your
Right
propeller hat? Propeller hat.
Right here. Right here. But Backyardigans was fire.
Backyardigans was goated. It was one of.
And that was like,
It had that same thing that Phineas and Ferb has, where it's like imagination. Where it's like, wow, what if all my friends and I shared a backyard? That'd be so cool.
yeah.
You know.
I really like, I don't know, that really kind of angers me. I'm kind of thinking about this now because I feel like Wonder Pets, because it was all about environmentalism. Now that I remember it, and now, I said this as a joke, but it's like people were gonna write it off as this like political agenda, and it's just like
No, it's okay. I say environmentalism. The show is just saving animals. You
but
know?
like it's talking about like habitat destruction and stuff like that, and it's like, bro, like, yeah, it's an actual problem. Like stop pushing that. There's this like backwards matrix meaning. Like it's just we're teaching kids how to treat the world that we live in. I don't know. I hate that. And like kids shows were so good back in the day. I don't mean to sound like such a hipster, but it's just like these kid shows.
The nostalgia goggles.
But they were so good, man.
They were good.
I would totally love to sit down and
Well, I think we do look at it through rose-tinted lenses
A little
because we say like, oh, Wonder Pet, like all these shows, they were so good, and then we don't think about the like billions of shitty Disney sitcoms that were like playing, and we're like, what the fuck, you know?
yeah.
So it's like what we were looking at was good.
It's just like, yeah.
Mhm.
I wish kids could grow up on what we grew up on.
I think they're growing up with stuff that's fine.
Are they?
Yeah.
Not Wonder Pets.
Can't be Wonder Pets, but it's all right.
Wonder Pets is pretty fire.
All right, let's wrap up.
And we're gonna wrap up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode
Mm-hmm.
of Jack and Chesco in the morning.
So, no episode next week.
You what?
I'm leaving
Oh
on
wait,
Friday,
you're
bro.
leaving. Unless we do Chesco in the morning. Oh no, wait, I'm not gonna be here. My bad. But
Cesco in the morning.
no, that's gonna be that's
What about
what's-
the week after? I'm flying home on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, cool. We'll do that.
Or we could do something cute on like our Instagram live.
What do you mean?
We'll do like a duo, like Instagram live in the morning. Me and you. We'll have breakfast together or something. Breakfast?
Breakfast. All right. Thank you for tuning in to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jack and Chesco in the morning.
Love you guys. Take
Have a
care,
good one.
family.
Have a good morning.